Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Maximus the Fourth. Whereas today, we're going to send some nice treats to my buddy, DJ Glowing Ice. I'm going to do something that I've never done before. I'm going to showcase a box packaging video, and there are 6 different items that I'm going to go over with you on exactly what they are. So, let's get started. First of all, what we have here is a can of Mountain Dew Sangrita Blast. Mountain Dew Sangrita Blast was made available in Taco Bell in the beginning in December of 2013 alongside 5 other drinks, one of which was Diet Baja Blast, and then was replaced with Mountain Dew Spiked Lemonade. However, at one point, Mountain Dew Sangrita Blast did make a limited time store release run on store shelves with Mountain Dew Baja Blast. And to this very day, there have still been some reports of Mountain Dew Sangrita Blast at gas stations in fountains, but other than that, it's pretty gone. There is one Mountain Dew variation called Mountain Dew Cyclone, which is known to be an exact copy of Mountain Dew Sangrita Blast. This will be a nice little treat for DJ Glowing Ice if he's never tried it. These things are pretty valuable. One can goes for about $50 to $75, and I bought a complete 12-pack quite a while ago for $260, so that was quite a steal. There we go, item number 1. Next up, what we have here is a original can of Billy Beer. Billy Beer was first released in 1977, which was a year run by Billy Carter, which was the younger brother of the president that we had at the time, Jimmy Carter, excuse me. And oftentimes, Billy Carter was an embarrassment to the president of Jimmy Carter and often referred to as a buffoon. He was known as a small-town redneck clown prince that loved to drink beer. While Billy Beer did promote Billy Beer, he had no hand in brewing it at all whatsoever. He had hired a company to do it for him. And although he was promoting the living daylights out of it, he later on admitted that it was so bad that you had to be an alcoholic in order to like it. And Billy Carter owned his own gas station in Plains, Georgia. And to this very day, the gas station is now rebuilt into a museum that anyone can go in. And there appears to be that there's really no entry fee but a donation box. And there's nobody that even works in there. It's just kind of open and owned by his family. And Billy Carter is best known for his 1-year run of Billy Beer. And that was truly his 15 minutes of fame. There we go. Next up, what we have here is called, the official name is Dutch Bros Blue Rebel Energy Drink. Most people just simply call it Rebel for short. If you like Red Bull, then you should know about Rebel. Basically, the story is there's 2 brothers, Dane and Travis Boersum. They had originally founded Dutch Bros Coffee in 1992 in Grants Pass, which just so happens to be my exact hometown. To this very day, I believe there are 862 different Dutch Bros locations, and one of the brothers, Dane, did die, and Travis is still alive, and he has a net worth of $1.6 billion. They were generation farmers, third generation farmers, and Dutch Bros for a long time actually used Red Bull in a lot of their drinks. And I believe in 2009, they officially released Dutch Bros Blue Rebel energy drink. And this was good for the company because they were now independently owning their own energy drink that they could use. And when they were making this, they wanted to make sure that it was going to taste as close to Red Bull as possible, because that's what people were used to when they were ordering their drinks from Dutch Bros. What I can tell you is that Dutch Bros Blue Rebel energy drink, it does have a little bit of a less sweeter taste than Red Bull, and also a little bit of a less bitter aftertaste. So this should be a pretty fun one for my buddy DJ Glowing Ice. I've tried it before and it's pretty good. Oh, in Dutch Bros, the 862 locations are dispersed in 12 different states, so it's very likely that DJ Glowing Ice can't even get his hands on this. I can't remember where he lives, but that doesn't matter. Next up, what we have here is a original can of New Coke straight out of 1985. Now, New Coke was actually a flavor of Coke that Coca-Cola had tweeted back in 1985. Coca-Cola had done some blind taste tests with their original product of Coca-Cola Original, and they were taste testing for people to try with their Coca-Cola and PepsiCo's Pepsi. And because people preferred the sweeter taste of Pepsi over Coca-Cola Original, Coca-Cola discontinued their original flavor of Coca-Cola Original, and they came out with New Coke, and it was supposed to be advertised as New Coke. Great new taste. Well, very, very quickly, this item was met with complete hostility, and after 79 days, nearly 3 months went by, Coca-Cola very quickly realized that they had to do something fast because they were going nowhere. So they ended up discontinuing this, and they brought back original Coca-Cola, and that pretty much saved Coca-Cola from going completely extinct. And to this very day, New Coke is known as one of the greatest marketing failures of all time, if not the absolute biggest. These are pretty rare. New Coke, there's people asking $300 to $400 on eBay for one of these. This is a full can. People are asking that ridiculous amount of money for even just an empty can. And this actually came from a 6-pack of New Cokes that I had bought off of eBay. The seller had 6 of them in a perfect 6-pack carrier. One of the cans had lost every last bit of the liquids, and then there was another one that had probably about 60% of the liquids, maybe 40 or 50 at the smallest. But the seller was originally asking $499 for that 6-pack, and I talked him down to $299. Which was a great deal because I've already sold one of these full cans for $200, which came out to be $171 profit after getting taxed by eBay. And I sold one of my empty cans, which was the empty can that is sealed, unopened, but leaked of all the liquids. And that one sold for $100. So I have darn near made every last bit of my return on my investment from buying this 6-pack of New Coke. And I still have 4 of them. 3 now because this one now belongs to DJ Glowing Ice. And I can assure you that this actually is a very safe can to drink. Even though it's old, the carbonation is all still intact and everything. And there really is absolutely nothing wrong with this. So, DJ Glowing Ice, if you want some redemption, you can definitely open this thing and try it. It will not hurt you. Next up, what we have here are two vintage bottles of Pepsi Blue. I am not going to send one, but two, a twin set of vintage Pepsi Blues to DJ Glowing Ice. I didn't really have any other cool items to send him, and he's way too cool to send hokey items to. I don't know. I know he already has a vintage bottle of Pepsi Blue, but I figured maybe if he wanted to do a taste test comparison with, and use one of these to do it with a modern day bottle of Pepsi Blue, that's completely up to him. He could definitely sell one of these on eBay too if he wants to help fund his channel a little bit. But all in all, Pepsi Blue was first released in 2002 and discontinued in 2004 because of a highly controversial dye agent, Blue Number 1, and Canada also had to discontinue it because of this, and Pepsi Blue did come back finally after 18 years. After 17 years in 2021, and yeah, you can't beat a vintage Pepsi Blue. In my opinion, they taste completely different than the modern day ones, and the way that they had crafted these things with the ingredients was just absolutely freaking phenomenal. So let's get these all packed up for Mr. Ice. And last but definitely not least, what we have here next up is an original bottle of Cherry Cola Slice. And this one is probably the rarest out of all of those in this video. And the story of Cherry Cola Slice was basically back in 1982 in Knoxville, Tennessee. Coca-Cola was working on coming out with a brand new cherry flavor of their own flavor called Cherry Coke, which they did end up doing that. And then Pepsi in Canada only had received this news, and they came out with a flavor of soda called Cherry Pepsi. And that was in 1985 when Cherry Pepsi had come out. However, the States never did come out with a Cherry Pepsi. Instead, 1 year later, they came out with Cherry Cola Slice. And Cherry Cola Slice was on the market from 1986 to 1988. However, there was no specific date that it was discontinued completely and completely pulled off the shelves. There still were bottles here and there on store shelves, even as late as 1993. But this is a pretty cool special item because a Cherry Cola Slice is pretty much the holy grail of all Pepsi collectibles, maybe standing next to a Mountain Dew Red. And it's pretty cool because right here it says, "From the makers of Pepsi Cola." But yeah, Cherry Cola Slice was the very first cherry flavor of cola soda that was produced by PepsiCo in the United States. So this is a pretty highly sought after coveted prize. These things are pretty valuable too. You could probably get 300 for this thing, probably 400. And if you had the right buyer, you could probably even get 700 or 800 bucks. But that's a little bit of a tougher sale. So let's get this thing all packed up.